things I call the 5 cool things that babies do. And that has to do with their 5 senses. Everybody has a sense. And the 5 senses in babies are the senses of touch, hearing, smell, vision, and of course, taste. So these are the cool things babies do, and I think when people recognized that babies can do cool things, especially parents, they are more inclined to engage babies on their 5 senses. So let's take, for example, the sense of touch. Anybody who has been to the labor and delivery, like I've been several times as a pediatrician, would notice that babies, once they come out from their mother, they are ready to start grabbing, holding on to things, materials, people's hands, anything they come across, they hold. It's called a grasp reflex. And when they do that, they kind of calm them down. If you're a good observer, you notice when a baby holds your hands or when the baby grips your fingers, they kind of calm down. So that sense of touch is related to the nervous system and the brain, and it has some relaxing effects. And the skin-to-skin practices is, a way of demonstrating the importance of contact, touch. When a mother's skin is touching to a baby's skin, or when a father's skin is touching the baby's skin, it communicates and it has some relaxation. So babies are born to, touch and grip and grasp, and I think is one of the coolest things they do. And when I share this with a new parent, they tell me that they realize that the baby likes to be on their chest, and it relaxes the baby. It's just a 4-day-old baby. So parents are eager to pick up on that. They know that, and they share experiences, and it's left for the physicians to affirm that touch, grasp, and holding, cuddling, cuddling is very developed in babies, and is a way to form that relationship, that bonding, to initiate that. It has it has a calming effect on the baby, as well as a calming effect on the parents as well. So that's one cool thing babies do. Another cool thing babies do is they have a good sense of smell, right? Babies are able to differentiate their parent's smell, their mother's smell from other women. So the sense of smell is very, very sharp in babies, and it's protective in a way because they can turn away from things that has bad smell, noxious smell. They can turn away from that. And of course, if a mother is breastfeeding, the baby is able to smell that breast milk, and it turn to that breast milk, right? So that is a very cool thing. The sense of smell, and is also so I consider that as one of the cool things babies do, able to smell, right? And recognize that this is a mother, and I can recognize their smell, or this is my dad, I can recognize their smell. So parents, the more you make yourself available, the more babies can recognize you through the way you smell. There's something with hearing. Babies' hearing capacity is very developed when they're born. In fact, babies can hear in utero when they're still in the womb, and then this hearing capacity could sharpen up and they are able to hear their parents' voice, and if it's familiar, because if it's familiar to them, they turn to their parents. So keep talking to the babies. They're hearing you. They might not be able to respond verbally, but they're hearing you, and they remember some of the things you tell them. It will be ingrained in their mind and consciousness as they begin to mature, become toddlers, infant toddlers, and young adults. And when a baby recognizes your voice and you're talking, the baby is quiet, knowing that somebody, familiar voice is around the corner, and they can tune in quickly and watch and see what that familiar voice is going to do. In fact, when I share this with a couple too, they tell me they realize quickly that babies, they notice that this baby audio recorder that this baby could hear, and that they sing to the baby, knowing that the baby could hear. So parents pick that up on their own, and the physicians only have to affirm that this is important, and this is and they are right. And of course, expand it by telling them what that means, right? How that translates to a quality relationship when your baby can hear you, smell you, and also feel you, feel your skin, so, and of course, the sense of vision is also there in babies. They might see blurry, when they're born. It could be a fog kind of vision, blurry vision. But, within weeks, by the end of the month, they can see sharper, especially if you come close to their face, like 6 inches, 9 inches to their face. They can actually follow you and track you. In fact, I like to demonstrate this by picking up babies that come to my office, picking them up in my arms, and try to connect with them, mutual gaze. Try to connect with them and see if I can get their attention. And sometimes, if I stay on it, depending on the age of the baby, they could actually lock eyes with me and begin to track me to a certain degree, left and right. And if I'm lucky, I can get a smile, and everybody gets a smile out of that. The baby smiles. Both babies can actually see when you're close to them. So, and they are fascinated looking at the face, human face. In fact, a baby might be more fascinated. My students notice that the baby, when I wear masks, the babies don't like to look at me, and they look at the students because the mask is strange to them. So they're fascinated looking at face. So the more you show your face, the more you talk to them, the more you come close to them. They can touch them, hold them. They can begin to associate you as their primary caregiver, somebody they know, somebody they can trust. And both mother and child, father and child can have a quality relationship. Remember, and of course, the sense of taste is also is one of the cool things babies have when they're born. They can taste things, and they can differentiate between something that's sweet and something that's bitter, and by the way they frown their face, and the way they twist their mouths, and the way they stick out their tongue and spit it out. So babies can. I remember giving babies rotavirus vaccine. Some babies don't like that, and they kind of resist. They don't just swallow things just because you put that in their mouth, if it's something bitter, they will resist. They will put their tongue out, right, and refuse to swallow. Unless, of course, if they're hungry. And when baby's hungry, he can suck up anything. Just like adults, when they're hungry, they can eat up anything, right? But if you're satisfied, you can begin to discriminate things that get into your mouth. So this is senses babies possess when they're born, right? Ready to engage with adults who are there for them. Remember the most important thing is the back and forth response between you and your baby. You are initiating and the baby is responding. So there's this back and forth thing. All right, it's not a one way thing. It's a bidirectional. What the researchers call serve and return. I think is Dr. Shankoff and Ethel, his group, coined that term, serve and return. Just like in tennis, where you serve and there's a return. So that is how the relationship between parents and newborn should be. Mutual relationship, mutual give and take, right? Sometimes babies initiate a point of contact and mother responds, father responds. Sometimes the father instigates and baby responds. And these are very important because these are the things that, like we said over and over again in this podcast, that help build a quality relationship between parents and their babies, and very important in social emotional health, happiness, of the babies and infants when they grow up. And then these are the things also that underlines are the foundations of learning, language development, speech development, and cognitive development. So these are all intertwined. These relationship through sensory baby senses, right? If a parent were to engage babies in all these sensory capacities the baby already have positively, that would build into a quality relationship between the baby and their parents. And with that, the brain cells, the neurons that are burdened, would sprout out some more and interconnect between them, which will support all these social milestones that I mentioned before: happiness, confidence. A baby who enjoys quality relationship with their parents. So I'm very happy to discuss these things, and there are ways people have said it in the past. People have said babies are born to engage with their adult partners. It's like a dancer. It's like two dancers, right? When they first start dancing, they can be missteps, right? But the goal is to know one another very well. That there's choreography. There's flawless choreography between dancing partners. So the relationship between the ongoing relationship between the baby and their mothers, between the baby and fathers, between the baby and the caregivers. Doesn't matter who that is, grandpa, grandma, foster mother. That relationship is like a dance. People have likened it to a dance, compared it to a dance between two partners. And it could start it could start with difficulties, and until two partners, if they work on it, will get to a stage where they are dancing flawlessly, right? And getting along and doing all they have to do to survive. So these 5 cool things about babies are very exciting. It could be it could be point of discussions, telling parents, especially new parents of newborns, the 5 cool things babies do, right? Their sense of taste, their sense of smell, their sense of touch, their developed sense of hearing and vision, all right, and allowing and sharing is, encouraging them to get going, engage babies on these capacities, right? And if you see, parents will have varieties of ways limitless of ways to do that, and more ways than any provider can imagine, because parents come from diverse. They can be missteps, right? Well, the goal is to know one another very well. That there's choreography, there's flawless choreography between dancing partners. So the relationship between the ongoing relationship between the baby and their mothers, between the baby and fathers, between the baby and the caregivers. Doesn't matter who that is, grandpa, grandma, foster mother. That relationship is like a dance. People have likened it to a dance, compared it to a dance between two partners, and it could start it could start with difficulties, and until two partners, if they work on it, will get to a stage where they are dancing flawlessly, right? And getting along and doing all they have to do to survive. So these 5 cool things about babies are very exciting. It could be point of discussions, telling parents, especially new parents of newborns, the 5 cool things babies do, right? Their sense of taste, their sense of smell, their sense of touch, their developed sense of hearing and vision, all right, and allowing and sharing is, encouraging them to get going, engage babies on these capacities, right? And if you see, parents will have varieties of ways limitless of ways to do that, and more ways than any provider can imagine, because parents come from diverse diverse societies, and some of the ways they engage babies are cultural, right? And sometimes deeper than the physicians can ever tell them, but affirming that these are important things to do, telling them why it is important, adds to the depth of understanding of parents, adds to their depth of understanding, because not every parent did research on, not especially in infant and mental health, and parents come with different experiences, right? Some are young, some are older, some is their first baby, some is their first baby, and then this baby who comes in 10 years or 20 years after the first baby. So there's a gap, and you never can tell what parents know. So we can't take for granted that parents knows all these things about baby's capacity, right? And even if they know, reminding them that this is important and why this is important is also the critical thing, and encouraging them to begin early to engage with their babies through the senses is very important, because of what we said before, how how this is very important for all the later milestone, okay, that babies are expected to have as they get older, right? So parents don't have to wait on the babies a week old or 2 weeks old or 2 months old or a year old. This is the importance. I can't stress this enough. Babies are born to engage the day they're born. Okay, they're ready. So are you ready as a parent? Are you ready as a dad? Are you ready as a mother? Are you ready as a grandpa, grandma, uncle to engage this baby to get on with their development and brain power, right, and happiness and social emotional health? Especially this is important. This topic is important to me, especially with this with ongoing social media where a lot of parents are distracted, from engaging the newborns, right? Facebook is there, Twitter, LinkedIn, everything, Instagram, TikTok. So these are things that are competing with the time mothers, parents have to stay with the baby and engage them. So this subject is very important, right? As a way of mitigating against competition that social media has brought into this family relationship, into family dynamics, into baby parent dynamics, right? So the more parents hear about this, the better. Okay, it might offset some of the time parents spend on social media, because when they engage their baby using this knowledge, is a quality relationship, is active relationship, is a relationship based on goal orientation, right? Because this is science-based, research-based, and evidence-based. And I'm not the first person who's saying this. I'm just trying to revisit what other scholars have done already. Sometimes they've used all their academic career to give these principles, give these practices out to everybody. As a pediatrician, I think I am in a better place because I see these babies, all right, at newborn nurseries, in my offices, and I follow them, all right. So do other pediatricians too. So if we combine and talk about these basic parent-baby relationships, it will be this world will be a better place. The kids we grow up being better kids. All right, at least give them a good foundation to go into the world and associate with the wider environment. Right. Okay, this is a foundation to engage with wider environments, with their peers as they grow up. Okay, but the parent newborn relationship is a starting point, right? The starting point, and you want a starting point to be strong, so that the babies, the infants, the child can always come back to the parents as what we call a secure base, right? Because of that love, that initial love between, that initial bonding, that initial relationship is very important. As babies, as children begin to grow and meet wider environments, right? Go to school, go to daycare, go to elementary school, college, high school, elementary, as they begin to move and they're gonna move into the wider society, they would always remember, they have a strong bonding with their parents, right? And they would come back, as adults, once this foundation is there. It's more likely will come back as adults, seeking refuge in their parents' wisdom, in the relationship they have with their parents. So this is a very important subject, because socio-emotional health is fundamental to success. Whether you're going to be a businessman, whether you're going to be a teacher, whether you're going to be a Wall Street broker, whether you're going to be a pilot, whether you're going to be a dancer, whether you're going to be a nurse, right? A soccer player, a football player, whatever, it doesn't matter. Your social-emotional health is very, very important. And that's what's going to pass to your kids, right? It is generational skills you can pass to your kids. So I don't see any subjects better than this. Even as a doctor, it doesn't matter what profession you are. That relationship is very, very important. The relationship you share with your parents is very, very important. And your parents have to have the knowledge, the skills to engage you in all these aspects of human senses for mankind to to evolve to a better species, right? Begin to evolve. Otherwise, we're going to degenerate. Otherwise, we are going to degenerate if we don't engage babies and newborns this way. If we don't engage them this way, we're going to probably degenerate into a society of people without emotions, right? People that don't have, people with no relationship cues, no secure base. And I don't think that's going to be good for humankind. So let's keep this connecting tissue going, right? The pioneers in this field have done the heavy lifting, right? Of sharing, telling us, the baby's capacity to relate. So let's keep moving this knowledge. Let's keep sharing it to as many young women, as possible, as many young fathers as possible, and let them develop that. Let them broaden it out, so the society begin to move forward, so the intelligence begin to move forward, so that our knowledge base begin to move forward, so our brain begin to grow. Right? Nobody wants mankind brain to shrink. Right? So I'm very certain. I'm very optimistic that if this becomes a popular way of sharing knowledge with parents, it's going to be a good thing for society, for mankind, everywhere. Right? It's not only in America or in Western world, in Africa, in Nigeria, in my hometown, Akokwa, and everywhere. Asia, Palestine, Israel, Ukraine, India. There's no limit. There's no limit to Saudi Arabia, Senegal, Cameroon. There's no limit. There's no limit to the essence of this topic, right? This is what humans are made for, right? Generally, this is continuity of life in itself, the socio-emotional health, and this connecting tissue between parents and the newborns. There's nothing more important than that. All right. So I hope the five cool things babies do would add to the abundance of knowledge already in this field of infant mental health and promotions. All right. This is Dr. Anyoha, and thank you so much for listening. Please share this with your friends, families, anybody having kids, planning to have kids. Please share this. This is very, very important. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.